My name's Anna and I like to read, and in this video I'm going to be doing the supernatural book tag. So I actually printed out the questions on a piece of paper and I wrote my answers down here. So I'm going to be looking down to read the questions. So the first question in this tag is Pilot, a book that had you hooked from the very beginning. So for this question I'm going to go with Paper Girls Volume 1. I was really fascinated by the story. I thought the art style was fantastic and I wanted to know more and I wanted to figure out what was going on in their world and where the story was heading. The next question in this tag is Everybody Loves a Clown, a book that kept you up all night. So for this question, I'm going to go with The Sun is Also a Star. I remember when I was first reading it, I stayed up really late to finish this book because I wanted to know what was going to happen. And I thought that the author took a concept which usually wouldn't work, which is two characters meet and the book takes place over one day, but it did in this book because the author wrote it in such an interesting and clever way, and I couldn't stop reading it and I wanted to know more and what was going to happen. The next question in this tag is All Hell Breaks Loose, Part 1, a book that broke your heart. So for this question, I'm going to go with The Outsiders. I read this back in 7th grade and I really enjoyed it, but I was devastated by the way it ended because I couldn't believe that that was the ending of this book. The next question in this tag is Mystery Spot, a book that felt a little repetitive. For this question, I'm going to go with Frankly in Love. It was really terrible. I feel like this book was very repetitive because there was not much happening. At the same time, the author tried to cram a lot of things into this book, and the main character, what he did, what he said, it felt very repetitive at times throughout the whole novel. The next question is Lazarus Rising, a new character that started off as someone you disliked but turned into one of your favorite characters. So for this question, I don't have an answer. I couldn't think of any book in which I really disliked a character but then started to like the character. The next question in this tag is Swan Song, an ending that felt unfinished. For this question, I'm going to go with The Starless Sea. I feel like the ending was very abrupt. As you can see, it's a pretty big book and there was a lot going on in this book, but I feel like for such a big book, the ending was rushed and it felt unfinished. The next question in this tag is The French Mistake, a funny book with a dark twist. So for this question, I'm going to go with Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. So this follows a character named Greg and his friend Earl and their classmate who is dying from cancer, and his mom asks him to befriend her. And this book is really funny, even though it does deal with cancer and death, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's a pretty funny book, and I really enjoyed reading this book. The next question in this tag is The Man Who Knew Too Much, a character who made a huge mistake. For this question, I'm going to go with Gale from Mockingjay for obvious reasons. I'm not going to go into it because it might be spoilers and if you haven't read the book yet or the book series, but what he did was a huge mistake in this book. The next question in this tag is Reading is Fundamental, dramatic character change. So for this question, I'm going to go with James and Kat from We Used to Be Friends. So I felt like both of these characters turned around very quickly and it was a very dramatic character change. The next question in this tag is Sacrifice, a scene that really sticks out. So for this question, I'm going to go with American Born Chinese and the scene at the end of the book where everything comes together. I thought that the author cleverly weaved the three stories together and it was so interesting how he put all of the characters' arcs together, and I still remember it clearly and vividly, and I really enjoyed this graphic novel. And I think that the plot twist towards the end of this graphic novel, where everything comes together, really sticks out, and I think the author did an amazing job of putting those arcs together. The next question in this tag is, do you believe in miracles? An infuriating character. For this question, I'm going to go with Claire from Ship It. She was a very annoying and unlikable character. She was very infuriating, and I really don't like how this is one of the books about fandom and fans, and how the author painted a fan of a show in this book. That's another issue. Overall, I just really didn't like Claire as a character, and I found her very unlikable, annoying, infuriating, all of the things combined together. The next question in this tag is Baby, a new perspective on a story. For this question, I am going to go with this play, which is the search for signs of intelligent life in the universe. So it is about aliens who come to Earth in the 80s, and there's this girl who is explaining to them modern society, and as she explains to them human life, there are different character arcs that are going on throughout the story, and they are cleverly weaved together. Towards the end, you understand who is connected to who, and I've already reread this twice, and I think it is so clever, and I think it does a great job talking and discussing human nature and our society. And the reason I chose this play for this question is because it is from the perspective of a human being, but aliens are also listening, and they're trying to learn more about humans and their nature. So the next question in this tag is, Don't Call Me Shirley. An unseen character is revealed. For this question, I'm going to go with Rules for Vanishing. So this book is a YA thriller, and one of the unseen characters is a villain, and they eventually appear in this story. The next question in this tag is Scooby Natural, an adult twist on a childhood classic. So for this question, I'm going to go with Only Mostly Devastated. So this is a retelling of Grease, where instead of Sandy and Danny, it is two guys, and they are Will and Ollie, and it follows them into their senior year. So I know that Grease is not a children's movie and it's not a childhood classic, but I did watch it growing up a lot, so that's why I chose Only Mostly Devastated. And the last question in this tag is Let the Good Times Roll, a cliffhanger that left you desperate for the sequel. And for this question, I'm going to go with Children of Blood and Bone. It left off on a cliffhanger, and I wanted to know more and learn more about what was going to happen in the sequel. So that is the Supernatural book tag. Have you done this book tag before? What are your answers to the questions in this tag? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you like this video, like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in another video soon.